Also, welcome in everyone. If you're new here and you don't know me, my name's Mijo Biscan. I'm a musician in Melbourne, Australia. You're probably on my email list or part of my social media. So welcome on in. Please feel free to sign in into the chat using option 2 where you can be a guest, set up a guest name, and get involved and be part of this conversation. Because the reason I've gotten to where I am with everything that I'm doing really is because of the conversation I'm having with all of you. And I appreciate it all. Appreciate the input. Appreciate you participating. So here we go. Live stream part 3. Experience the future of true music lovers. So before we start, quick little recap. This is a collaboration. Like I said, I really want to hear from you. The usual, take advantage of this situation and turn everything else off. Tune in, be here, be present, be a member in the chat, answer questions as I pose them, take notes, be with us, share your thoughts. This is not really about me lecturing about a topic. It's really an exploration for all of us, so invite you to be involved. Recording in progress. Okay, we're recording this. Have fun. Okay, so the last session we covered the tricky trio. This is the rise of the music industry, its effect on musicians, music lovers, and culture. We talked about record deals, shenanigans, streaming giants, and what we could do about it as music lovers. That was the first session. Second session was all about culture. So I talked about this thing, rather than a tricky trio, we talked about a dynamic duo, which is really taking the music industry out of it, and how do you just have direct connection with musicians and fans. What is it? How do we make culture we're proud to be a part of? If you haven't caught those, watch the replay. I'll send out a link probably tomorrow with a replay to some of these sessions so you can catch up and check it all out. Get up to speed. Today's session is about a new ethical ecosystem that enhances the connection between music lovers and musicians and the experience of music and culture and community and being involved in that. So I'm going to share a number of rising platforms in the music space, how to be innovative and ethical in the music business to make sure it's working properly for everyone, and then how to create more connection, authenticity, community, creativity, culture, trust, honesty, and transparency. That's actually a really huge thing that I've been researching all this week, is really about transparency, honesty, connection with a fan base. And trust is something that's really lacking in the culture in general at the moment. People don't really trust the government. People have become more skeptical of science or of pharmaceuticals or media, business, all of that stuff. And the antidote to a lack of trust really is honesty and transparency. And that's something I'm really going to focus on a lot over the next 6 months to 60 years that I'm alive. So this is a quick little recap of the dynamic duo. So you'll see this this is more like a tribal connection where everything happens within this circle and it becomes a sustainable thing where the musician creates authentic connection, transparency, community. The music lover, derives a lot of value from that, and then they reciprocate by supporting the musician by being part of their world. So there's the actual drawing we did the other day. All right. So we talked about creating contrast in the last session. So the industry is sort of unbalanced, unfair. Tribe and community is more about fair compensation, exclusivity, separateness, connection, unity, being opaque or secretive versus being transparent and open. Industry being a monopoly power, just these huge players. The tribal community having multiple options and choices. The industry late to innovate. community being involved in innovation, blockchain, crypto, NFT, predator ecosystem, uplifting ecosystem, tech to lock people in, tech as a positive tool to connect. So now I'm going to go through all of these platforms and plus a couple of other ones. Basically, what I decided I would do is sort of rate them like a red light, orange light, green light. Red light meaning we need to get out of that system. We need to stop doing that. Orange light, a bit of a mixed bag. Green light is mostly could be called sort of ethically focused, community focused. All the values that I just sort of mentioned of connection, authenticity, creativity, community, fairness, all of that stuff. So this is going to be fun. So here's the first one. This is music streaming. Should be streaming, but streaming. Music streaming. This is the Aussie breakdown of this. So you'll see lots in the red category. There's Spotify, Apple Music. So they're the main sort of streaming platforms that, as we've been sort of exploring, have not been very ethical in how they're doing things. Then we have Universal Music, Warner Music, and Sony. These are the three massive music labels, major labels. And the thing is, we sort of perceive that Spotify and Apple are separate to the labels. But something people don't know is when Spotify was getting started, in order for them to get the catalog of those three major labels, they had to compromise massively and give shares in Spotify to those labels. So I actually see Spotify as sort of an extension, an arm of those major labels. It's not that Spotify is completely independent. So that's one reason it's in that red category. I put YouTube under orange because YouTube is or it was a couple of years ago, is actually a larger music streaming platform than Spotify and others. And that's through video streaming, but also their music streaming is a huge component. So they're a mixed bag. I'm going to keep coming back to YouTube because it's quite interesting how it fits into this picture. Then over on the right, some of these you might be familiar with, but I wasn't familiar with Tidal. So Tidal is a music streaming platform. They are based more in an ethical relationship with musicians. It was founded by and is run by a number of musicians, so they understand what the dynamic is and they have a vested interest in helping artists do well on the platform. As far as royalty payouts go, they pay out around about 4 times more than Spotify, 3 to 4 times, which is, in the whole scheme of things, it cannot seem like, maybe it doesn't seem like much, but it's actually huge if one company is providing 4 times the value for the artist who is putting their music on their platform. And like I said, it's more open, it's less interruption or interference with creating playlists that just serve Tidal the way that Spotify does. And it's a much better choice. So I have just signed up with Tidal, and I think my last album, Golden Moment, should be on there now. I think my artist profile is ready, but I will send out some links and things so people can connect with these platforms and connect with me on there if you want to. The next one in the green category is Bandcamp. The reason Bandcamp is there is because 82% of all the sales goes directly to the artist. So if you buy my album on there for $10, I'll get $8.20 of that, which is really fair to me, very fair and ethical. You know, I understand that these platforms have to take some cut, right? But it's whether they take basically everything or whether they give a fair part of that to the artist. So I see Bandcamp as a really ethical and useful platform. They have a streaming component where you can stream a lot of the music for free. Some of it you can download for free in exchange for your email, which is how I've been setting up my recent single releases. They are free to download with exchange for an email, and that begins the community and connection. So next time I release an album or a single, that person gets notified, and so there's a little bit of a community aspect to that as well. The next one down is SoundCloud. SoundCloud has a lot of free to stream music on there. I've also been putting my music on there. I'll get to the community aspect of SoundCloud in a minute. And then there is my Backstage Pass, which I haven't mentioned very much here. And I wouldn't say it's strictly a streaming platform, but what I do, so this is basically like a membership or a fan club of my music. And what I do when people join my Backstage Pass is they get a lot of my back catalogue of music and some of my new music as well. And they can stream that. They can put that on that phone. They can put it on their computer. They can put it wherever. And they can stream it and listen to it as much as they like. So that's the idea there. So that's music streaming. A little breakdown for you. Let's go on to video and live streaming. So I've taken the platforms that exist that most people know out there, and I've actually put YouTube in the red category for this, mainly for the live streaming component. For some reason, YouTube hasn't fully figured out how to get a good feeling happening when you're doing a live stream on YouTube. People aren't used to going to YouTube thinking that they're going to join a live stream. They're usually going there to just, watch videos that they like and have videos recommended to them. It's more of a video viewing platform and less of a live streaming platform. So for the video aspect, it actually probably should be in the orange area. But a couple of other platforms I've been playing with. Twitch I was using a lot during lockdowns here in Australia, and I actually think it's probably the best live streaming platform that's out there. Just the way that it is designed, the way you can interact with people in the chat, emotes, overlays, you can subscribe, you can tip, you can do all of those things. But I did also have issues with Twitch as far as how they treat streamers. They take quite a lot of the subscription money that people chip in. So on the financial front, they're not super favorable, I guess I would say. Rumble is an interesting platform. The thing I like about Rumble is it's very open. It sort of has gotten a name through being very committed to sort of not censoring your content. So if you say things that, I don't know, aren't within the common belief system at the time, it won't get taken down. So that is an issue with YouTube. They actually do censor a lot of content that I feel like people should have access to. So that's why it's in the orange. I've done a couple of live streams on there, one or two, and it's still a rising platform. And to be honest, I don't love all the content that's on there. It does feel sort of quite political and politically skewed, probably slightly to the right. But there's still a lot of interesting stuff on there. And obviously you don't have to watch those things. But as far as a platform for musicians and music lovers to connect, I feel like there's less friction there than there is on YouTube. So then over here again, we've got the Backstage Pass again. So as part of the Backstage Pass, I do live streams. I do a live stream a month. And that's very direct. It's a private live stream. We chat sort of like this, but I'm playing music and I'm sharing news and updates and exclusive behind the scenes sort of videos of demos or upcoming stuff or whatever. And the thing I don't have there very much is like a video sharing component the way you do on YouTube. But as far as live streaming goes, they are my favorite live streams to do by far. All right. So actually, before we move on, let me just check if there's anything in the chat. NN is in the house. Welcome on in. Gav is in the house. Just catching up on the chat. Okay. Well, here didn't Universal remove their material from Rotify? I didn't hear about that, Gav. That could be true. Bandcamp Friday as well. Yeah, exactly. So Bandcamp has actually paid out over $1.2 billion to artists. I think they're doing an awesome job. If people don't know what Bandcamp Friday is they waive all their fees. So if you buy something of mine on that day, 100% of it goes directly to me, which is awesome. And I do have a real soft spot for Bandcamp. I've been on there for a long time. I really feel like their heart's in the right place. So Twitch seems to have removed my ability to chat. Oh, what about video? Any good? Can you tell me what you're referencing there, NN? Just because I've kind of dropping a lot of info here, so I'm not sure. But really nice to have you here, NN. Always a pleasure. Discord is pretty good as well. Yes, I'm going to get to Discord. Yeah, keep dropping your thoughts into the chat there. Appreciate hearing from you all. Okay, so here we go. Here's Discord. So social media and community, as one of the values I'm sort of using to evaluate these things, community and connection and removal of friction between artist and music lover is really a high priority in my mind. So in the red, we have Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I basically call TikTok like the brain musher. It's not really great. There's really no level of community on TikTok. On Facebook and Instagram, there is Facebook groups I think are really good and interesting. And as part of the Backstage Pass, we have a Facebook group. But I am thinking of transitioning that over to Mastodon, which I'll get to in a second. I feel like Twitch actually has a really good community feel to it, like I talked about before. And when I was doing lots of Twitch streaming, I was pairing that with Discord. Discord has a lot of flexibility in the community building too. You can have lots of different sort of areas that people can go into and interact and chat. But the reason that I put it into the orange is because I did some research around Discord, and not to poo-poo it in a big way, but Discord is it's a for-profit technology company, and not that there's anything necessarily wrong with that, but that's where their incentives are. That's what they're focused on doing, which means the dynamic often is the way it is with Spotify and Netflix is often the prices to be involved if you get like a premium or pro Discord account is prices steadily rise as a consumer and the quality steadily decreases. So as an example, Netflix has actually reduced their catalog in the last couple of years. You can't actually access every movie on there. There's obviously a lot, but they've reduced sort of what they offer, and they charge you more for each tier that you're a part of than they used to. So that's the only reason Discord's in there, but I do like it as a platform. So Mastodon. Does anyone know about Mastodon? Because I had heard about this platform probably for a couple of years, but I only just created an account the other day. So you should try and find me. Well, find me on Mastodon. It's Mijo Biscan Music. I have one follower, our legendary friend here in the Backstage Pass, Mikael, found me on there and followed me. So thanks, Mikael. And it's a platform that I'm new to, and I've just been exploring it myself. I have to say that it's not as intuitive as the other platforms. Takes a minute to just sort of figure out what's going on. And the reason for that is because they're actually not pushing stuff into your face and into your feed. They allow you to curate what you want to see. And another reason I love Mastodon is because they're community focused. They're not for profit. They really focus on privacy. There are no ads. And there was one other element that I loved about them. Let me find it here. No data mining. So they're not just stealing all your data. They have over 4 million users at the moment. And another reason I'm interested in moving over to Mastodon as my primary social media spot is because of the community. I'm really focusing a lot more on quality over quantity. And I feel like the people on Mastodon are more like-minded with what I'm up to and what I'm interested in, which is, connecting in a healthy and ethical way with people who are like-minded. So you can get in and really have a positive experience when you're online, which I feel has become more difficult to do. So the reason I've got the Backstage Pass there is I'm envisioning Mastodon and the Backstage Pass sort of interacting a lot more. So I might be switching over from a Facebook group to a server or an area on Mastodon where we can connect in a better way. Moving on, I'm down here with SoundCloud. The reason this is in the green is I really like the community aspect of SoundCloud, where you can comment on people's music. So Gav, who's here, has an awesome show on SoundCloud called Outrageous. And I love listening to it and finding, a particular song or something and commenting right there. So you can get really great feedback as to what people are enjoying, what they're thinking, and not just a general comment, but it can be, love the way, the guitar transitions from the verse to the chorus or whatever. So I feel like it has a lot of great community aspect to it. I've put Bandcamp on here, but quite low, because it doesn't have a lot of community engagement. But like I mentioned before, when people exchange their email address for a free download, it just means that the musician can now sort of have a relationship, have a connection to that music lover. So that's why it's there. So that's social media and community. Now we're talking about community crowdfunding and subscription. This is a cool development over the last couple of years, is where music lovers can support musicians and creatives of all kinds, people who are creating content and creating things that people like. So on the left, you can see YouTube. YouTube has a subscription. You can subscribe on YouTube and you can tip. But again, it doesn't feel like a natural thing to go to YouTube and then tip people. Sometimes it feels a bit more natural if there's a live stream. You can do, I think they call them super chats, where you can donate, $5 and then it elevates your comment in the chat. But it doesn't feel as intuitive. And then under the orange, we've got Twitch. Twitch has a subscription thing, but like I said, they do take a huge portion of it. Patreon is a really great platform, and I really like it But the reason I put it in the orange column is because I feel like they take a little bit more than I'm comfortable with them taking. So they take, I think, between 8 and 10% of what your patrons give you. So if someone signs up for $5, that's not a huge amount of money, it's not like thousands of dollars, but they'll take $1 out of that. And to me, that feels like a lot. Hang on, is that right? No, they would take 50 cents. That doesn't sound like a lot. But out of $10, yeah, no, that's right. Out of $10, they would take $1. Another reason is my thing really has a lot of what I think about is about pure creative expression. And I also know that they have been involved in censorship of things that they just don't personally like. And to me, that's troubling. Not that I think I would fall into that category of being super controversial, but I just don't like the idea that someone can just close your account. That to me is really scary. And it just kind of reminds me of what happened during going into COVID. As a musician, my entire livelihood sort of just went to zero. And just thinking someone else could do that to me if I built up a Patreon thing and then for some reason wires got crossed and they shut me down is a bit scary. So that's why it's in the orange. Kickstarter is a really cool crowdfunding platform. I like Kickstarter, same thing. To me, it's not as relevant for what I'm doing unless I want to do like an album pre-sale. And then the next one is Possible, which I actually have used. It's an Australian-based one. So I actually really liked their platform as well. And that's good for pre-sales of albums or of a vinyl run, which I might do. Then, heading into the green, we've got Bandcamp. Again, Bandcamp is rating very high across all of these. So Bandcamp has a subscription, and I like how simple it is, and it's integrated really well. When you upload stuff, it just goes automatically to the profile of someone who's supporting you. So I like that. I just don't like sort of the look and feel of it. Feels a bit basic, but I do like it, and I like that they're so ethical. And then again, we have the Backstage Pass. So the Backstage Pass, the reason it's here has to do with the fees. I've tried really, really hard with the Backstage Pass to remove as many fees as possible that happen between the music lover and me in this case. So I've searched high and wide. I have tried a couple of different merchants. They're called merchants, basically. People who just handle that transaction. And I would love that to be improved. And I would love that to actually happen through blockchain or through cryptocurrency, because there's no friction. But I just feel like it's too early for most people to feel just fluid in how to set that up. But it probably is something I will set up for certain people who want to go that way, because I really think that's probably the holy grail, is removing all the friction within the financial transaction. To me is really important, not because I want more of the money. It's really, well, that's obviously awesome, but it's to save the person who's supporting me having to pay a fee to just some person who's converting some digital number in space. So if that can happen in a less frictionful way, I think that's definitely where I would be heading with that. So just going to check in here. Gav is saying, I always ask someone if someone has Bandcamp. It's my preferred. Oh, that's awesome, Gav. Yeah. I actually want to spend more time on Bandcamp and buy music directly from musicians. Facebook seems too focused on AI, a bit too scary. I agree. I do agree. Yeah, I feel like they're just harvesting a lot of information, and you are the product rather than it being there for you. Vimeo, and then yeah, interesting. Yeah, I think Vimeo is great. I haven't tried doing live streaming with Vimeo, and my recollection of it is that it has really great high quality video, and I love that aspect of it. Not sure if they do live streaming, and yeah, I would have to look into that. Oh, my other thought with Vimeo is that if you use over a certain amount, you do have to start paying a subscription to it, which again is maybe not necessarily a bad thing if you want really, really good quality. But I have to have a look into other live streaming. I'm sure they have a live streaming component. And thanks for bringing it to my mind. I want to subscribe back to your Backstage Pass. Awesome, NN. NN, you would always be massively welcome to do that. You're such a, speaking of community, you're an awesome community member and supporter, and you participate, and I appreciate you. Always love having you around. Gav, another good thing about Bandcamp, unlimited re-downloads of purchases. Yeah, that's great. Great. That was another thing I was going to mention with Tidal, the streaming platform. They have this really interesting way to deal with streaming. They have this thing called stream to own, which means once you stream a song a certain number of times, if you really like it, you actually own it on your catalog. And it means that the artist has essentially been paid for a full download. And I think that's another really cool, innovative way and thing that Tidal is doing. Very cool. Yeah, that's a great point. And also another thing I like about Bandcamp is you can get high quality digital files, really high resolution audio. So very good point. Awesome. All right. I think we just got a little bit to go here. So here's the big reveal. This is my new ethical ecosystem. So I'm getting rid of how much time I spend on all those other platforms. And my main focus is my Backstage Pass, which it has been for a while. But really, the whole idea of the Backstage Pass is to take all of the good qualities of all of these different platforms and try and put them into the Backstage Pass to provide a quality experience directly between me and music lovers. That's always been the aim. So that means try to give really good value for money as far as people getting downloads of my back catalog so they can stream that stuff, have a monthly live stream together, have a place where we can connect. It's been in the Facebook group, but I think we're going to swap that over to Mastodon. When I do releases, I'm going to focus them predominantly on Bandcamp. I am also going to do them on SoundCloud, and mainly for that community aspect to get feedback on songs and things like that. I'm going to move my catalog over to Tidal. When it comes to my new album, it's very unlikely I'm even going to release it on Tidal or any streaming platforms until it's been fully released to people in my Backstage Pass. And I'm going to give people an opportunity to buy it through Bandcamp for a couple of months and promote it in different ways. And then once I've gone through that promotion cycle, it's almost like, when a movie comes out, it's at the cinema and you pay a premium to go see it early and have it. Then it goes to DVD. You can buy it at a lower price. Then it goes to a rental. Then it goes free to air. The way I think about streaming, it's not the primary place that I want to put my music for people to engage with it. That's the free to air thing. It's like, cool. you haven't really engaged or wanted to express the value around this music. But now you can hear it because I'm onto a new thing. And by the time I'm onto the new thing, that's when people in the Backstage Pass already have the new thing. So, and I do have Rumble and YouTube here. I think I'm gonna focus on still using YouTube because I think it's a really great platform for music, and it's a really great platform for music videos, and I love making music videos. I'm also considering doing more vlogging this year, meaning just making videos where I'm talking about, what I'm up to. And then also sharing that stuff on Rumble sort of as an experiment. So if you're not following me yet in any of these places, I really should have had links set up, but you can, maybe I can drop them in the chat. Let's see if I can do that. So I can drop a couple of these in here. Here's my Bandcamp. I don't know if this is going to work, but there's a link to my Bandcamp. You can go check it out. Here's a link to my SoundCloud. Oh, it's calling me. Sure, Kev. Sure. Yes, I don't have the links yet for all the other stuff. But you can find me on Mastodon. Find me on Rumble. Find me on YouTube. Find me on Tidal if it's working. And then you can go check out the Backstage Pass, which I'm going to talk more about next week. I'm going to do another session on Monday where I'm doing sort of a new relaunch of the Backstage Pass. I've been creating a whole new membership site within my website. And like I said, I'm just keeping all of that very in-house. It's all, it's really just between you and me, what we get up to in the backstage area. So, yeah, I think that's it. Awesome. Thanks, Gav. Thanks for sharing that. Cool. Well, if you have any questions, comments, final remarks, would love to hear from you. But if you saw my video earlier in the week where I was talking about breaking up with the music industry, that's really sort of what I'm talking about. I'm still going to use these other platforms. I'm not completely going dark on, Instagram and Facebook. But the way that I'm seeing them is not really the place to connect my music to a music-loving audience. But I will be continuing to share what I'm doing in those places, but I'm not going to be spending hours and hours and hours a day creating content for those places. I'm going to be just refocusing my energy over on Mastodon. The Backstage Pass is really where everything's going to be happening. And I'm excited about this sort of transition. I actually feel like it's like a personal declaration of independence. Because it's very easy to just go along with what everyone else is doing and whatever the platforms are promoting you to do, and to start to be a slave to their algorithms of what they want you to be creating because it's engaging for the other people on the platform so that they can shove ads in front of them. And I sort of have just had enough of that. I've had enough of being involved in that ecosystem. And like I mentioned in that video, part of me is scared to do this, actually. Part of me is like, dude, what are you doing? You're just going to be isolating yourself. No one's hanging out on Mastodon. No one gives a shit about Rumble. No one, blah, 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 blah. No one's on Tidal. No one's going to find you. But I've been really thinking about this and meditating on this basically every morning for the last sort of 2 weeks as I've been doing these sessions. And I have this internal knowledge, part of my own integrity with myself, to not contribute to making the world worse. It's that simple. That I don't care if I get fewer streams or if I get blah, blah, blah. It's about having sovereignty and ownership over how I engage with these platforms and how I engage with people who are interested with what I'm doing. So, like I said, I'll still use those platforms, but it's just like the relationship has completely done a 180, you know? It's rather than I'm working for them, that technology is there to work for me and what I want to do, because I trust that I'm an ethical person and I'll want to do the right thing with anyone who engages with me. So that's part of where I'm at. And if you're here, you're watching this, you're here live, thanks for being here live, making the time to be with me. I really deeply appreciate it. It's really meaningful. So thanks for being a part of it. If you're watching the replay or whatever of this, thanks for checking it out and coming down the rabbit hole with me. I ultimately am really, really excited to double down and triple down on these, just a better, more ethical way of living, essentially. And I've been thinking, it's made me think a lot about everything else that I'm doing. And I actually was going to share some of this tonight, but it would just take another hour. I've just been setting up really what the old system is, what's the new ecosystem, how do I generate more connection, more trust with an audience, more, like creativity, make it a better, more special experience for music lovers. How can I be more transparent with, even with the income that comes through with the Backstage Pass? I want to be more transparent with what that actually covers. What is the tangible impact that Backstage Pass members are having on my life? Doing like a quarterly shareholders meeting live stream where I really share exactly what I'm doing, connecting with more ethical business practices. Like even with my tour that's coming up, I'm hiring an electric car. I'm making organic fair trade cotton merch. I want to align with organizations that are aligned with my values. So it really feels like a very fun, doesn't sound fun, but just a better way of existing in the world as a musician. So, yeah, thanks, NN. Thanks for understanding. Thanks for being a part of that journey with me. Because there's also very cool things I've been finding out about eco-friendly vinyl that, I want to explore that. There's interesting, even with the transaction thing that I was talking about before, doing it through crypto, there's a number of ethical, environmentally conscious crypto companies that do carbon offsetting. I also have a carbon offset calculator that I want to start using. I want to start sharing some of the income that I get with 2 charities in particular that I'm passionate about. So I just feel like what I'm doing is it's just going to get deeper and richer and better and be an asset to the world. So, blah, 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 blah. Thanks for being here. Big love. Appreciate you all. Put it in your diary. Monday, the 3rd of June. I'm going to be doing a launch party of the Backstage Pass. I think tonight I sort of explained many of the reasons why I created that, why it's beneficial to have it, what my intentions are with it, how I want to make it better. So we're going to do a little launch of that with a couple of bonus sort of prizes and incentives for people to sign up. So, and then if you're thinking of doing that, Monday is probably going to be a good day to check out all the bonus stuff. So, big love, peace out. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being on the journey, and I will see you next time. See you Monday. Bye.